Multi-step forms are a really great way to break down longer form processes and split it up into bite-sized chunks that can be easily consumed, filled out, and maintains engagement throughout the entire submission process. Multi-step forms are entirely possible to create in HubSpot in multiple different ways, but before we get into that, I just want to break down when to actually use multi-step forms, because whilst they're great and a really good way to visually display information and form fields, they're not always the best choice. The first thing to consider when looking to use a multi-step form is it going to help to enhance the buyer journey? And typically they're really useful for complex buyer journeys and complex form submissions, where you might have a custom quotation builder where you need to ask for lots of different information, different stages, different types of information that all come together to give you a comprehensive view of somebody's requirements that they need from you. So think project scoping questionnaires, service configuration requests, and detailed consultant bookings, essentially where you're asking for a lot of information and you want to make it easy for the user to break that up into bite-sized chunks and easier for them to give that information to you. Another great way to use multi-step forms is when you want to give some visual guidance and feedback. So think progress bars for really long forms to suggest where you are in that process, changing different layouts, using different iconography, different form styles that might not be possible or get really lengthy in just a standard full page form, and you can break that up into different steps that are catered to the buying journey. Sometimes when you just have a really long form and you need to ask for a lot of information, breaking it up into multiple steps can just improve the submission rate of that, because you can basically break down the steps for the buyer, give them a more intuitive journey, let them know where they are in the process, and just make what seems a really overwhelming form less daunting and less overwhelming. It's really important to note that adding multi-step forms just for the sake of it because they look cool or you just want one can really be detrimental to the user experience. If you add in multiple steps to a simple process where you have 3 to 5 fields, then that's creating unnecessary friction that you do not need to create with your buyer. So that can reduce conversion rates. So only use multi-step forms when you really need to. Other than that, simple, normal, regular forms are completely fine and will give you a better submission conversion rate. There are 3 key ways to create multi-step forms inside of HubSpot. Let's dive into each of them. When you're inside of HubSpot, it's easy to navigate to the multi-step form editor. So simply just go to marketing, find your forms in here, and what we can do is create a new form, and you'll now be presented with 2 options if you're enrolled in the new form editor beta. If you're not, get yourself enrolled in this. So legacy form editor will be what you're used to with the standard HubSpot form UI. Form editor is what we want to create multi-step. So if we hit that and go next here, I'm just going to go from a blank template. And now you'll see this nice visual drag and drop style UI for form editors, which is really nice. One thing I just want to show you before we get started, because I kind of want to make a realistic example of a multi-step form here. So in this first section, I might want to ask for a message as well in there. So we've got some information and we also need a message. So all I've done here is go to add, which is going to then look for different fields that we can create, properties that already exist in the CRM, and other form elements, images, headings, paragraph text, capture, privacy notice. All of those things are accessible in here and can be drag and dropped in. So I might just want to drag a heading in here and just call that get in touch. Then I want a message box underneath here. So I'm going to find that in my properties. If I didn't have one, I would essentially create a multi-line text property in here by dragging it in. And then it's going to ask me to either connect that to an existing property, which I can do by saying message, or it would then make me create a new property. It's worth noting in here that whatever fields you have in this form editor have to be connected to a property in order to actually capture that information in the CRM. So when it comes to actually creating multiple steps in this form, we'll get back to the way it looks in a moment. It's really easy to create another step. Just hover over this bar here with the plus icon and click next step. It really is as simple as that. The first thing it's going to ask you to do is connect another property. So here in my next step, I want to start asking for some company information. So I'm going to say company name, add in there. And then let's see what other properties we've got in association to a company. Maybe size. Let's put size in there. And obviously these are just random properties that I'm selecting here, but you can choose your exact properties that you want to show. I'm going to put industry as a drop down in here too. And there we go. So that will do for my company information. What I want to do in here is just add another heading to make sure it's clear that this step is all about company information. All right, and then we can keep going. If I wanted more steps and more steps, I can keep adding those on and on, but for the purpose of this, I'll keep it short and sweet. When we get into the thank you message, it's very easy just to edit this. I can just click on it and start typing directly in this box here. If we wanted to redirect to a thank you page, you just click on the outer box here and you say redirect to a page, URL, or meeting instead of showing the thank you. When it comes to any kind of logic or styling, logic is really easy to create in here. If we just head over to the logic tab on the sidebar, we can then say if these conditions are met, so if this drop down is true and this is true or this is false, move step, move stage, ignore this field, go there. So it's really, really easy to basically condition the form to whatever kind of logic and theory you want to add behind it. Then when we get into styling here, this is all very editable in here. You can edit your fonts, the font size, all of the colors, everything you would need to style this form in your brand style right from here too. So that's how you create a multi-step form. Let's actually see how it looks inside a page. So when we hit review and update, I can just update it here. And then it's going to basically tell me, do you want to embed this in an existing HubSpot page? Do you want to get the code to embed it elsewhere? Or do you just want to share a link for to basically host it on a HubSpot page, which will then be its own kind of standalone form page? I want to embed it into a CMS page. So I'm going to choose my form demo page here and open this up because I want to show you how it looks. Now we've got our form demo page open here, we can see that this is just purely a template, but what we'll see is we don't have a form selected in our form option here. So let's select one. Let's go to our forms and go with new blank form because I forgot to name it and apply those changes. And what you'll see straight away is that our multi-step form is in the page just like that. So we can now preview that and see it in different devices and actually see how it's going to function. So right here, we can then say, right, let's start to actually populate some of this. And there we go. We've got our multi-step. We hit next. It's all there. Company name, company size. Let's choose an industry. And then boom, submit. We get our message as expected, as in the form editor. It really is as easy as that to create a multi-step form inside of HubSpot now. What you've just seen is HubSpot's native multi-step form editor, which, whilst is great, is also quite limiting in terms of what you can do from a functionality and, let's face it, a style perspective as well. When it gets into more complex multi-step forms where you need custom styling, custom integrations, custom calculation properties on the end, spitting out different information like quotes and things where the multi-step form is a connected part of the buyer experience and maybe more tailored to your brand than a standard multi-step form inside of HubSpot. So that's where we get into custom development. What you just saw was HubSpot's in-platform multi-step form editor, which, don't get me wrong, it is fantastic. It's intuitive to use, it's simple, it makes things really easy for marketers to spin up multi-step forms with ease. But custom development opens up huge possibilities for creating multi-step forms tailored to your exact requirements. It gives you complete control over your form's functionality, appearance, and the way it handles data too. So If you wanted to step outside the kind of typical box when it comes to multi-step form editing, and you've tried out HubSpot's in-platform editor, you still can't get what you like, you might need to go down the custom web development route, which can create more sophisticated experiences that go beyond HubSpot's standard functionality. Things like implementing complex conditional logic, where you need to create different forms and calculations based on what people have submitted. We talked about calculations, but seeing that in real time, for example, integrate with external databases or HubDB to draw in information into properties and your form from either external databases or within HubSpot's system itself. Similarly, the visual aspects of your form might also need to be customized further, adding particular embellishments on the side of forms to just make them look more on brand for your business might be a requirement for you, and giving more sophisticated progress indicators, which again are just more on brand too. It's worth saying that before I show an example of this, that there are developmental considerations to make as well when choosing the custom route, which is really important. Firstly, you will need some technical expertise that are required, either an internal developer or using a custom HubSpot developer like us at Blend, actually. We can help you with this for sure. You'll potentially need Operations Hub for any advanced integrations that you want to talk with your form and pull in information, extract information to particular places. And it's worth noting that there will be higher investment costs here. Obviously, it gives you the functionality you need and more flexibility potentially in the long run, but there will be more investment required here too. And that goes for ongoing maintenance and changes as well. Here's an example of a custom-built multi-step form in HubSpot that I want to show you for one of our customers, CHI Overhead Doors. So CHI are a huge garage door manufacturer out of the US. They have a really large product catalog, lots of different collections, lots of different product types, lots of different colors that all work with their different models. They have a color sample request option that enable you to order different color samples for the different collection and models that you would like to try. So they needed a multi-step form that would sync with their HubDB tables that power the rest of their website. They also wanted to make it really intuitive and easy to use from a user perspective. So when you get into color selection, you actually see those swatches live too. This all encompassed custom development. These aren't out-of-the-box features available in HubSpot's standard multi-form editor. So we created this custom form here, which you can see. This is purely on-brand. It's still very highly editable. It doesn't have the exact drag-and-drop functionality, but this is all purely editable from HubSpot custom modules and in HubDB too. So we select a option here from the collection drop down. Then these sample options are all, as you'll see here, because they change as I pick different collections, these are all pulling from HubDB, which is HubSpot's database of information that allows you to create dynamic pages and pull in different information to the website in an Excel kind of view. We'll put some information in the description of this video to HubDB content if you're interested in using that. So what we can see here is we've actually integrated HubDB options right into this multi-step form here. So I can say, I want this in white, and then I can go next here. And here is where I just get kind of the standard form selection process inside of HubSpot here. So I can fill all of that out, and then, my request has been sent to CHI. But what's really cool here is how all of this pulls from HubDB. It's very visual. It requires that kind of custom development that you just can't achieve from inside of HubSpot's standard multi-form editor. So it gives CHI a really kind of bespoke form tailored exactly to their buyer, their requirements, to improve that form submission rate and improve buyer and customer experience ultimately on their website. The third option for creating multi-step forms inside of HubSpot is a third-party integration. So third-party form builders like Typeform, SurveyMonkey, FormStack, JotForm. These are all really well-known form and survey platforms that integrate directly with HubSpot. So it's worth noting that all of these platforms do have their own benefits. Typeform, for example, is very much like a dialogue, where SurveyMonkey, lends itself to actually sending out surveys and logic within that. Of course, integrations like these have the benefit of having more specialized features, maybe more editability options than custom development. You've got pre-built templates to get you started, potentially some more advanced logic and branching capabilities, and it's quick. It's quick to set up, quick to deploy. Obviously, there are some drawbacks with integrations too, which are, kind of obvious when you compare them to built-in solutions. So you've got things like additional software costs. You've got less seamless integration and data shareability between your form and the CRM. There's an integration in between. Potential lack of brand inconsistency, or the little powered by icons that remain until you reach a certain software cost or platform tier with these integrations. And you also, just have to actually use a separate platform for your form management. So there's drawbacks there, and it's important to know when to choose the right approach for your form. So some things to remember here and to help you choose the right method. HubSpot's built-in form editor is really ideal for when your requirements align with that standard functionality. You want a really simple implementation. Native HubSpot integration and built-in functionality is a priority for you. You don't need any super complex conditional logic, and your team really like that drag and drop interface. Custom development makes sense where you need highly specific functionality. Brand consistency is incredibly crucial to you. You require complex integrations, talking to other systems to get data in and out, and you want advanced calculations too. Third-party integrations are good when you need specialized features beyond HubSpot's capabilities and you don't have the budget for custom development, or you don't want to do custom development for whatever reason. That's up to you. Quick implementation, getting this off the ground is a priority. Pre-built templates are there to suit your need, perhaps, and the budget kind of falls between what's natively possible inside of HubSpot using the built-in form editor and is not on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to custom development as well. It's right in between. So there we go. There we have it. That's multi-step forms inside of HubSpot. There are some really great ways there to improve your user experience. Make sure that form submissions are being completed at the highest rate possible to improve the conversion rate of your website.